Thank you. So I'm going to teach you quantity surveying and variation. This is a very important topic when in regard to a practical application of civil engineering. This particular topic has a lot of job opportunities. So if you can focus on this subject, it will be better for your career. And if you find interesting, you can carry on with this near future. So basically, I've prepared a slide for you to present. Can you all see the notes on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, quantity surveying and valuation is a method by which we are going to determine the quantity of materials and the cost required for a given work. So first, we will discuss about what is an estimate. So basically, an estimate is the process of calculating the quantities and cost of various items required for a given work. That means we will first find out the quantity of materials like cement or steel or anything like that for a construction work, and we will multiply each of those quantities with their respective unit cost, so we will get an estimate. So it's a very simple topic. I think you can understand what's meant by an estimate from the definition itself. So we are going quite fast because this is a large topic and we need to focus more on problems rather than theory. So it will be better if you can note down all these notes. So the data required for an estimate are basically drawings. Drawings means those plan drawings, elevation, and sections through important points. Like for example, a section cut through a window or a staircase. All those drawings are required so that we can take the quantity of materials required in that section, and we will develop a lot of sections drawings. And the next is a detailed specification in which the workmanship and the properties and proportions of materials will be defined. So these are the two data required: drawings and detailed specification. In detailed specification, workmanship requires how the skilled labor or unskilled labor is to be utilized for the work, how well the work is to be done, what is the finishing of the work required. All these comes under workmanship. And in the properties and proportion materials will come what type of material which we are going to use, what's the grade of cement, for example, what the grade of steel we are going to use. All those things will come into the topic detailed specification. So these are the things which these are the data which are required. And what's the purpose of an estimate? This topic we are going to discuss is the purpose of an estimate. There are I've highlighted those purposes. It will be better if you can note down these points, and you can develop it later by reading some text or some PDFs which are available in Google. First, I would recommend you to note down this. Aditya, is Aditya here?
Yes, sir.
Are you noting down all these things? Can you please tell me how an estimate is made from a given quantity? Hello, Aditya.
Yes, sir. കേൾക്കുന്നില്ല sir.
So can you please tell me how an estimate can be prepared from a given quantity? So it's very simple. We will just take the quantity of materials which are required, and we will multiply the unit cost of each material, and we will summarize all these things. Suppose if we are going to build a home, we will take the value of the quantity of cement, brick, tiles, everything required, and we will multiply the unit rate of each quantity, and we will summarize that. That's how an estimate is prepared. So this is what we are talking about in the past few minutes. And now we're going to discuss about the purpose of an estimate. So the first purpose is to ascertain the amount of money required to allocate fund or administrative approval and technical sanction. So if we are able to prepare an estimate of a project, then we will get a better understanding on how much money is required for that particular project, how we can arrange the fund, and how we can get the administrative approval and all technical sanctions from for the project. So the next is like ascertain the quantity of materials. We have discussed earlier how much quantity of each material we need to use so that we can order it prior according to the schedule of the construction. We can arrange those materials in the required quantity. So estimate is required to ascertain the quantity of each material. For example, like how many bags of cements are required, how many kilogram of steel reinforcement is required for a particular project. All those things we can get from an estimate. And also the numbers of different categories of workers. So like how many skilled labors are required, how many unskilled labors are required, how many painters or carpenters, how many numbers are required, and at what time they are required. All these things we can ascertain from an estimate. And also we can arrange the tools and equipments. Uh, so we can ascertain the tools and equipments, and also we can fix the completion period of a project. Uh, I hope everyone is understanding what I am talking about. Is Amal Rajiv here? Amal Rajiv? Is Amal Rajiv here? Amal Rajiv? Is Akshay here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just tell me, can you understand all these things, what I'm reading through? Are you able to see the written notes on your screen?
സാർ കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്.
Okay, you can understand. So I'm going to continue. I don't know where has Amal Rajiv gone. I'm going to mark his name. So we have discussed about the purpose of estimate until now, to fix the completion period, to schedule the construction accordingly, to invite tenders. Only after preparing an estimate, we will understand how what is the cost of that project, and then we will invite tenders for the contractors to participate, and all those things will be done after preparing an estimate. And also, if you want to value an existing property, like if you want to sell a particular property, or if you want to give away that property, rent away. So we need to calculate the value of that existing property. All those things will be done using estimation. So these are the purpose of estimate. So you need to note down all these purposes. These questions are found to be repeatedly asked for your university exams. I hope you are noting on all these points. And next, we are going to discuss about the types of estimates. There are different types of estimates. The first one is detailed estimates. So before going to that, can is Abhinav here? Abhinav? Abhinav? Students, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is Abhinav here? Abhinav is not here. Okay, I'll mark his name. Is Agil here? Agil Venugopal?
Yes,
So
sir.
actually, can you tell me at least 3 or 4 purposes of estimate? We have discussed this few minutes ago. Can you highlight me 2 or 3 points?
Sorry, sir. I don't know.
Were you listening to that my explanation? Just tell me 2-3 points if you can.
Sorry, sir, I don't know.
See, you should focus on this class. Only then you will understand why all these things are done. You can't just read one day and you can't understand all these things. If you are focusing on this class, it will be much easier for you to read all these notes and understand it better. So please focus on this class. So we are going to discuss next about the types of estimates. First type is the
Hello?
detailed estimate. First one is detailed estimate. In this estimate, what we are going to do is like we are going to find out the quantities and rate cost of all items which are required, and all these quantities are multiplied by the respective rates and are summarized. This is the estimate which we are going to prepare once the project is finalized and all the details are done. We are going to, just before we are going to invite tenders, we'll do this detailed estimate in which all the quantities will be calculated and all the rates and costs will be multiplied for each quantity, and will be summarized accordingly. And the next type of estimate is approximate estimate. So basically, approximate estimate is something which we do before an implementation of a project. If some project is proposed, something like a new railway line or a new road or a new building is proposed, we need to find out whether that building or particular project is feasible. We will prepare an approximate estimate. We prepare an approximate estimate considering only the preliminary investigation and surveying. In that, detailed surveying design drawings will not be required. Only we will prepare a general design, and we will compare it with recent projects, and we will find out whether that project is feasible, what is the cost, and if that cost exceeds our budget, then we won't move further with that project. That's why we are preparing an approximate estimate. Even if you are going to build a new house, first, if your client comes to you and tell that your budget is something around 30 lakh, and if you are going to prepare an approximate estimate of a building which is way beyond that, then that project may not be feasible. That's why we are preparing an approximate estimate of the same. So the first type was detailed estimate. This is done just before we are going to proceed for the construction. And the next one is approximate estimate, where a preliminary estimate will be done and detailed drawings will not be there. It's just to find out whether this project is feasible or not. The third type is detailed estimate. In this estimate, third type is revised estimate. Sorry, in this revised estimate, all these revised quantities and rates will be done without material deviations. That means we'll use the same material which we have chosen earlier, but there will be some difference in the quantities and rates due to some addition after while the construction is being carried out. So we need to submit that for some technical sanction or financial approval or something like that. We will prepare a revised estimate, where in this you need to note that the material will not be changed. We will proceed with the same material, but the quantities and rate will be different. That's known as a revised estimate. So another type of estimate is supplementary estimate. Supplementary estimate is actually prepared in which there will be some material deviation while the work is in progress. There will be some requirement that the material may be changed. A different quality of material may be changed. So in order to accommodate that change, we prepare a supplementary estimate. So you need to understand the difference between revised estimate and the supplementary estimate. And the fifth type is maintenance or repair estimate. This is actually done for all buildings where maintenance or repair activities are to be done. We'll prepare the estimate for that particular repair or maintenance. Suppose if the wiring has to be changed for a very old building, we'll prepare the estimate for only change of wiring, else something like that. So understood. This will be done for an old building, existing building, where some maintenance or repair activities are to be carried out. So as of now, there are 5 different types of estimate: detailed estimate, approximate estimate, revised estimate, supplementary estimate, and maintenance estimate. So can is Amrita KP here?
Yes,
Is
sir.
Amrita KP here? Okay, can you quote me what's the difference between a revised estimate and a supplementary estimate?
Revised. Revised quantities in the estimation.
That's for.
Revised estimation.
Then what's supplementary estimate?
Changes കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ട്
What is the
like material.
okay? I mean the material.
Material.
Yeah, when there's a change in material, also we are doing that. Is Evin Jos is present now? Evin Jos.
Yes, sir. Present.
Okay, so just quote me the difference between a detailed estimate and an approximate estimate. What's the main difference?
Actually, as the name says, a detailed estimation will give details, and an approximate estimation will give only the approximate values.
Okay, so why we are in which scenario we are using these two types of estimates?
Actually, I don't know. Actually, as per my information, these are used for civil engineering construction.
It's not clear. Your answer is not clear. I'm just asking in which scenario we are using an approximate estimate
Actually,
and
I
a
don't
detailed
know
estimate.
where exactly these are used, but as far we are dealing with civil engineering, it will be used before the construction or something like that.
Which one?
Actually, for any basic construction, we should do some estimation work, then only we will proceed.
No, I'm not asking about that. What's the basic difference between an approximate estimate and a detailed estimate?
Sorry, sir, I
The
don't know.
what scenario? So you need to understand that a detailed estimate is prepared just before we are going to proceed with the construction after getting all the sanctions and all. All the sanctions will be acquired using a detailed estimate. Approximate estimate is done only to find out whether that project is feasible, whether the project is some profitable or something like that. Understand? We won't
Yeah.
prepare detailed drawings and estimates related to those detailed drawings in an approximate estimate. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, clear.
So our next topic is there are different methods of estimating a building. Approximate methods of estimating for buildings. So the first method is plinth area method. This method, actually the plinth area of a building is considered. For example, if you're going to construct a house, and if it is 1,000 meter square or 1,000 square feet, and you will and many times what contractors will do is like they will give you a rough idea, something like this, like the per square feet will cost something around 1,600 or 2,000 rupees. So we can get a rough idea, like if we are going to construct 1,000 square feet, it will cost around 20 lakh or 16 lakh rupees, something like that. So this a plinth area of the building is considered, and is multiplied by the local rate of similar buildings which are nearby. So hence this plinth area method is used like that. And the next method is cubic rate or cubic meter method. In this, what we are going to do is like instead of area, we will work out the cubic content of the project of the building. Something like if we will calculate the length, height, and breadth of the building, and we will find out the volume of the building, and we will multiply that volume with the rate available. So can Chaitanya answer me? What's actually the normal rate of building per square feet? Any idea about that? Is Chaitanya here?
Yes, sir.
Can you just give me a wild guess on what's actually the rate of construction as of our current scenario? What is the rate of construction for a 1,000 square feet building, and how you are going to find out that?
I don't really know.
So actually, if if one of your contractors approach you that they're gonna build you a home for a rate of 2,000 rupees per square feet, and if you want to build a building with a plinth area of 1,500 square feet, so what will be the cost?
Can you repeat it, sir?
Like the rate is 2,000 rupees per square feet, and you are required to build a house which is 1,500 square feet. Its plinth area is 1,500 square feet. So what's the cost, approximate cost of the building?
Multiply it by the square feet.
So what's it?
I forgot the number, sir.
Okay, just multiply 1,500 with the rate per square feet. Okay, then you will get the approximate cost of construction of that building. So that's the method by which in which plinth area method can be used. Similarly, for cubic meter method, in which the volume is calculated and the volume is multiplied by the given local rate. And the next method is like service unit or unit rate method. So in this method, what we do is like we will multiply, we'll find out the unit quantity of something. For example, if you're going to build a highway, we'll find out what's the cost of construction per kilometer of that highway, and we'll multiply with the length of that highway, total distance of the highway which we need to construct. We find out and we'll estimate the approximate value of construction of that highway. Similarly, if it's a bridge, we will take the cost of construction per meter span of the bridge. And if it's water tank, it's like per liter of that water tank will cost something like this. And if it is a hospital, it may be like if it is a 900 bed hospital, we will tell like if it will cost like maybe 1 lakh per bed to construct that hospital, or 10 lakh per bed. So all these things are the service unit, understood? So if it is a college or a school, then the unit will change, like maybe a number of classrooms, something like that. So it will change accordingly. It will depend on the project which we are considering. If it's a highway, it will be the rate per kilometer, bridge meter per span, something like that. Understood? So our next method is approximate quantity with bill method. So what we are going to do here in this method is like we will find the total length of the wall, and then we will multiply the cost of construction per meter length. Understood? So if if it's a building, then we will find out the total length of the walls, all the external walls and all the internal walls, and then we will just multiply the cost of construction per meter length, and we'll find out the approximate value. And the next method is like bay method. This method is applicable mainly for some railway stations or railway platforms or factory sheds or even our bus stops, where the sheds or something are need to be constructed, and it will be something like there will be. Have you seen this arch-shaped construction where there will be number of bays for that building, and the unit cost will be defined for each bay, and we will say like if the platform is like 10 bay long, we will find out by multiplying the number of bays with the unit cost of construction for one bay. So this method is applicable to all those things where the total quantity can be defined as the number of bays. Hope you have understood this. And our next method is cost comparison method, in which we will be going to for a new project, and we will compare the cost of construction with a relatable another project, and the past records will be taken into matter, and we will find out the approximate value using that in this cost comparison method. And then the next method is cost from materials and labor. In this method, it's actually a empirical method developed by Center for Building Research Institute, Roorkee. And in this method, what we are going to do is like we will just use some equations where the total plinth area is multiplied with the approximate rate, which is defined by CBRI. So CBRI is an institution which has given some empirical solutions, empirical equations to define the number of define the rate of each quantity. And here we will just multiply the total plinth area given by the rate defined by CBRI. So is Anjita present? Anjita? Is Anjita here?
Yes, sir.
So what is the unit if you're going to adopt service unit method? So what will be the unit considered for a building, hospital building? I think I have explained this a few minutes ago, and you need to answer it. Are you not noting down all these notes? Anjita, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ട്.
Okay, just tell me which unit we are going to consider if we are going to build an hospital in that particular unit method, service unit method. No idea. That means you are not listening to my lecture. Okay, so our next topic is purpose of an approximate estimate. So earlier we have discussed why an approximate estimate is needed. So these are the purposes of an approximate estimate. If you want to investigate the feasibility of a project, as I have explained earlier, and to save time and money. That because before preparing an approximate estimate, if we move further without preparing an approximate estimate, and in later stage we'll understand that this particular project is not feasible, and that will be a great loss of time and money. So it's always better to prepare an approximate estimate and just figure it out whether that project is feasible or not. That's why an approximate method is used. And we will next is like to investigate the benefit and comparison of cost with utility. Like if in some cases where funds are not a matter and there are a lot of funds available, but we need to ascertain that the provided fund is feasible for that particular project. That means if that particular project is not utilized properly, then there is no sense in proceeding with that project. And for fourth purpose is adjustment of planning. So before going further with the project, we need to plan the project accordingly. That means we will have to plan the happenings at regular intervals. So all these approximate estimate will help us to find funds and allocate all those things at particular intervals and at required time, which is like to obtain administrative approval at time. And six is like for insurance and tax schedules. Like if you want to construct a project and if you want to insure that, then we need to prepare an approximate estimate and we have to quote that to some insurance company or agency, so that they will give us a value, an EMI for what is the insurance value of that. So all those things will be done after we prepare an approximate estimate. So as of now, I'm concluding this session. So I think everyone have understood. Is Akshay here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just in a few words, just explain whatever you have learned.